Come on in. Come on in. Hope you're having a fabulous week. We are halfway through, just a couple days until Friday. Welcome to Aries Rose TV. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose, and on this channel, we talk about movies, streaming shows, TV shows, celebrity news, world news, local news, politics, basically anything I find interesting, I come on and discuss with my Aries crew. Tonight's show, we have some great topics lined up to talk about. We're going to do a Diddy trial update, see what testimony was discussed and what went on in that court case today. We're also going to talk about Jeanie Buss, and the family is selling the Los Angeles Lakers. They've been longtime owners. We got to get into this article that's talking about they're going to be selling it to the Dodgers owner, if I'm not mistaken. R. Kelly, the R&B singer, is currently incarcerated. He fears for his life, so we got to get into some information on that. And Wendy Williams' ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, has filed a lawsuit over her guardianship. So she has spoken out about it. So we're going to get a little bit more information on that. So if you are or if you have been on a live before, you know the drill. Leave hashtag Aries Crew in the comments if you are a part of the Aries Crew. If you are a first time watcher, leave first time watcher in the comments. I want to give you a shout out for stopping by, spending part of your day here. As you come in, hit that like button. It goes a long way. It's a free way to support the channel and it is greatly appreciated. So we're going to get into our first topic for tonight, and that's going to be about Wendy Williams and her ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, who's filed a lawsuit about her guardianship, and this is from reporting on TMZ. Wendy Williams' ex-husband is taking legal action over her guardianship, but she tells TMZ she has nothing to do with his lawsuit and feels it's a money grab. According to the new legal docs obtained by TMZ, Wendy and her ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, filed a lawsuit, according to new legal docs obtained by TMZ, Wendy and her ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, filed a federal lawsuit in New York to release her from the shackles of her guardianship, Sabrina Morrissey, and claims the guardianship is not a shield to protect her, but a weapon used against her. Thing is, we talked to Wendy on the phone, and after the lawsuit was filed, she told us she's not involved here in any way, despite the doc showing Kevin trying to sue on her behalf. Wendy and Kevin divorced in 2020 after 21 years of marriage, and the split was acrimonious. In the suit, Kevin claims Wendy's court-appointed guardian is abusing, neglecting, and defrauding her, and says her guardianship is a punishment with no therapeutic purpose or protective function. Kevin says Wendy's competent to make her own decisions and claims her guardian is ignoring medical advice to keep her in, quote, fraudulent bondage, end quote. Wendy's been diagnosed with dementia, aphasia, and Graves' disease. And in the suit, Kevin says she's being over-medicated and claims healthcare professionals have described her as alert and oriented. He says she passed the competency evaluation in March 2025, but says no one petitioned the court to terminate the guardianship, leaving her, quote, a captive of a corrupt criminal enterprise, end quote. Kevin claims someone who works at the Cotier, the assisted living facility where Wendy lives, photographed her in the private confines of her unit, including when she was in a state of undress. And he says the alleged photos were sold to media outlets for profit. Wendy's guardianship started in 2022 after Wells Fargo froze her bank accounts over what the bank said was suspicious activity. And now Kevin claims she was coerced into the guardianship due to, quote, immense financial distress and emotional strain, end quote. Wells Fargo is among the defendants. In the docs, Kevin claims Wendy's former financial advisor, Lori Schiller, and her former manager, Bernie Young, exploited her trust and financial resources, spending tons of her money without her knowledge. Kevin also takes aim at Wendy's guardian, claiming Morrissey's doing a poor job managing the guardianship. The lawsuit seeks $250 million in compensatory damages, orders the release of Wendy from involuntary confinement, and calls for Morrissey to be terminated as guardian. So that's a lot. And I didn't expect that her ex-husband was going to be filing a lawsuit of that nature. Although I had been hearing, I want to say it was maybe at some point last year when that documentary was coming out that Lifetime did on Wendy Williams, and he was trying to do a lawsuit about not Sabrina Morrissey not having the legal guardianship over Wendy in like New Jersey, but she was filing paperwork on behalf of Wendy out there, so he was trying to get that thrown out. So I knew he was having some type of battle with the guardian, but I'm surprised that this lawsuit came out here. And we're definitely going to keep an eye on it to see what comes from this. Wendy has been trying to get out of this guardianship. She has done public interviews with TMZ, Don Lemon, and other outlets like the Breakfast Club to try to get her message out there that she's able to take care of herself. You know, she was in a dark place and she was going through some things, but she says she's on the other side of that now and she wants to be able to have control over her money. She wants to have more freedom to be able to go out and not have to have somebody unlock the doors. She's on a floor right now where she has to be supervised, and in order to leave, somebody has to come and unlock the door for her based on what she said her living situation is like. So she's looking for some more freedom and just for the ability to be more in control of her life than what it is right now. And she's had a lot of allies on her side. From the interviews we've heard, Wendy Williams seems to sound, very much like she did when she was on her TV show. Not being a doctor, not seeing any of her medical evaluations. I don't know if she's medically okay or not to take care of herself, but seemingly from the interviews she's done and the way she's told her story, it sounds like, she's able to at least do a lot more than she's able to do now. So I hope if anything comes out of this lawsuit, she's able to get out of this guardianship if it in fact is not anything that she needs further. Hard to tell if her ex-husband filed this because he needs to get some money, because once she was no longer making money on the Wendy Williams show, she didn't have to pay spousal support to him, which he had got as a part of the divorce. So I don't know if this is because he needs money or if he genuinely cares, and I hope he genuinely cares about Wendy, but we will see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think it's a money grab by her husband, or do you think or ex-husband, or do you think he really cares and wants to help Wendy get out of this guardianship and truly believes she's being exploited? Let's keep that conversation going in the comments. And now we're going to check out what's going on here with Jeanie Buss and family selling the Lakers. I mean, this has probably got to be a really good deal if they're willing to sell the Lakers, because I mean that's a pretty top tier NBA team. So I'm imagining there's lots of money to be made with them. So if somebody is giving them up, I wonder what kind of deal you are getting in return for the money you'd lose on future earnings from that team. Let's get into this article here. And this is reporting from TMZ. And it says here, Jeanie Buss and her family have agreed to unload their majority stake of the Lakers, selling the team to LA Dodgers owner Mark Walter, the largest sale of a sports franchise in history. I bet. Shams Charania broke the news Wednesday afternoon, revealing the Busses, who own 66% of the organization, reached the deal to sell the team to the 65-year-old businessman on an approximately $10 billion valuation. $10 billion. Jerry Buss, Jeannie's dad, purchased the team for a paltry $67.5 million in May 1979. Under his tenure, the Lake Show became one of the most popular, successful, and culturally relevant American sports franchises, exploding in value. It's unclear how much ownership, if any, the Buss family will retain, but Walter, who already owns the slice, will be the majority owner. Jeanie will remain the governor of the team. Walter is the CEO of Guggenheim Partners and also has ownership in the Dodgers, the upcoming Cadillac F1 team, the Los Angeles Sparks, the Professional Women's Hockey League, which I didn't even know was such a thing, and the Chelsea Football Club. The team is yet to officially announce the transaction, but the move will put the Lakers at the top of the list of teams top of the list of team sales, fittingly passing historic rival Boston Celtics organization, which sold for $6.1 billion. So there's a lot of money in sports teams, apparently. $10 billion. Can you imagine dropping $10 billion to buy a team? That's how you know you have money, when you just have $10 million you can go spend on a sports team. And we got a comment here, Chantel. Thank you so much. She's got a hi from Las Vegas. Appreciate you. Let me know, what was the temperature like out there? Was it a triple digit day, or is that more in July? And now let's get into a little R. Kelly here. So apparently he's had some health situation going on here while he has been behind bars. So I want to say he's been behind bars for a couple years now at this point, and it doesn't look like he's going to be getting out anytime soon. And let's see here. We're going to go into a couple articles about some stuff that's been going on with R. Kelly. And triple digits, 109. I mean, I know it's dry heat, but it's still brutal. Brutal. The heat, I just cannot do the heat. I'm a fall winter girl, so the summer I just have to bear and grin it and stay inside mostly, but the triple digits gets me every time. Every time. All right, let's check out what's going on here with R. Kelly's reporting from TMZ. R. Kelly is doubling down on his claim that his life is in grave danger in prison, now alleging Bureau of Prison staff at his federal center in North Carolina purposely gave him too much medication, causing an overdose that left him in the hospital. A court filing submitted by his attorney, Bobby Brindley, Monday claims R. Kelly was left bedridden in a hospital after a solitary confinement staff member instructed him to take additional medication the night of June 12th. The next morning, the Pied Piper allegedly awakened feeling faint and dizzy, and when he attempted to get up, he fell on the floor, quote, crawled to the door of the cell and lost consciousness, end quote. He was subsequently taken to Duke University Hospital, and during the ride there, he claims he heard prison officer begrudge, quote, this is going to open a whole new can of worms, end quote. During his 2-day stay at the hospital, Kelly says he learned he was given an amount of his prescribed medication that could have ended his life. Okay. Furthermore, Kelly claims in his Monday filing, prison staff took him off necessary blood thinner medication and is now refusing to allow him a doctor-recommended surgery to clear blood clots in his legs and lungs that are putting his life in danger. Instead, they have locked him up in solitary confinement, where Kelly has expressed to his lawyer he's convinced he will be unalived or left to pass away. Therefore, the disgraced music mogul is asking for temporary release to home confinement for the third time, arguing his life depends on it. Prosecutors swiftly filed a response to Kelly's request, alleging he continuously paints himself as the victim, adding, quote, this is the behavior of an abuser and a master manipulator on display, end quote. The response also claims Kelly knowingly submitted an action to court that has no jurisdiction over his case, accusing him of instead choosing to, quote, write to let this court know that he is cold in prison and to criticize the medical care that he's receiving, end quote, in order to turn his situation into a grocery store checkout aisle tabloid. Kelly's latest filing comes just a week after his legal team sought his immediate release due to an alleged foiled murder for hire plot against him. He submitted a sworn statement from another inmate, a Brotherhood inmate here, leader named Mikhail Glenn Stein, who authorities claim offered him release from the clink if he murdered the singer. Stein was in on the plan at first, but changed his mind and spilled the beans to Kelly, according to the filing. However, Kelly alleges a different member of this brotherhood has been asked to take out both himself and Stein. As you know, Kelly is serving a 3-decade prison sentence for his 2021 racketeering and ex-trafficking convictions. He's only been in jail for a handful of years, but according to him, they're doing quite a number on him, and not the musical kind. So it sounds like he believes that what happened to him was intentional. Somebody was trying to take his life. That was a lot to process. I don't know if I think that is the case or not. But it will be interesting to see if this does end up helping him get out a little bit earlier or have some different conditions that he is under incarceration with. We got a couple more articles on this here, and this reporting from TMZ. So Joycelyn Savage's family is speaking out about R. Kelly trying to get out early. It says R. Kelly should absolutely not be pardoned because one of his alleged victims, Joycelyn Savage, has been missing for years and is still believed to be in his grip and under his control, her family attorneys tell TMZ. Gerald Giggs, attorney for Joycelyn's family, tells TMZ they're slamming Kelly's push for a Trump pardon, insisting the singer still has a grip on Joycelyn, who they hadn't heard from since a short phone call back in 2019. Watch the video. Joycelyn's family has only heard from individuals claiming to represent her, though it's unclear in what capacity. And Joycelyn is R. Kelly's one-time fiance, who many say is a victim. Her family believes she's alive, hopes she's healthy, and says they'd love nothing more than to hear from her directly. I'm surprised. I thought they had already reunited, but maybe I'm confusing her because I think there was another one as well that they both did an interview together when this stuff was starting to come out before he got arrested about what he was doing, and questions about whether or not these women that were around him were there because they wanted to be, or if they were being forced or coerced into whatever he had going on there. And let's get back into the story here. The Savage family says Kelly has never taken accountability and he was rightfully convicted and he should serve every last day of his 31-year sentence. In 2021, Kelly was convicted of racketeering and trafficking in a New York federal court, which is kind of similar to the charges that Diddy is going through right now in his trial. Just a year later, he was hit with more guilty verdicts, this time for inappropriate stuff with minors and enticing minors for inappropriate stuff in Illinois. A rep for Kelly's legal team, Bo Brindley, tells TMZ they're not willing to discuss Joycelyn right now because they want to focus on the singer and what's happening to him. So maybe they can discuss her at a later time. Brindley previously told us he's hopeful Trump will pardon R. Kelly, arguing the former prez can relate to being targeted by the feds. He's also pushing for Kelly's release. The former singer has been hospitalized after alleged threats from people in prison forced him into solitary confinement and now asking a judge for home confinement instead. So it said that we tried to get in touch with Joycelyn for comment, but were unable to contact her or get in contact with her. Let me know if you think she is still under. I don't know how he could be controlling her from prison, but maybe he's got people on the outside that are doing something with that. I don't know if she just doesn't want to be back in touch with her family or if he is really having some way of keeping her from having any interaction with them. But I truly thought they had at least been in more contact with her, especially since he is locked up. So I'm kind of surprised to see that saying they haven't had contact since 2019. And yeah, I hope she is still alive. I would imagine so, because I would think that would have made the news at this point if she could have been ID'd. But um, here's to hoping maybe she's just trying to have a low key life and not bring no attention to her so R. Kelly doesn't know where she is. And we got a couple more here on R. Kelly, and this reporting from TMZ. R. Kelly is claiming he's marked for death after an overdose that left him hospitalized this week, but one of his alleged victims is calling BS on what she sees as a ploy to get sprung from the can. Here's the deal. The disgraced music mogul is asking for temporary release to home confinement for the third time after alleging Bureau of Prison staff at his federal center in North Carolina purposely gave him too much medication. Lisa Van Allen, an accuser who was a witness in Kelly's 2008 trial and 2022 federal trial, or 2002 federal trial, tells TMZ she doesn't buy for a moment there's a plot to unalive the convicted trafficker because he's not even important anymore. Ooh, that was savage. She said, that said, Lisa, who was also a surviving R. Kelly documentary participant, totally believes that Kelly might be targeted by fellow inmates due to the crimes he's been accused of. But hey, that's prison, and it sure is heck ain't a reason to be released. Okay, so there's clearly no love lost there. She didn't have no kind words for him. As you know, Kelly is serving a 3-decade prison sentence for his 2021 racketeering and ex trafficking convictions. For the most part, Lisa tells us she doesn't follow anything about Kelly in the news these days, but his recent pleas for freedom via playing a victim card were too serious to ignore without a warning. Kelly's too dangerous to ever be set free. Bottom line, Lisa told us she sincerely wishes Kelly a speedy recovery so he can get back to rotting in a prison cell. Kelly's lawyer, Bo Brindley, took issue with Lisa's opinion and responded, quote, "When I cross-examined Lisa Van Allen, she lied to the jury. She was caught by me obviously lying more times than could be counted. She even lied about being underage when she met R. Kelly. The government had to admit she lied. Her lies were so significant that both Daryl McDavid and R. Kelly were found not guilty of the charges to which her testimony applied. She's not a victim of anything," end quote. All right. Well, you can tell that relationship is sour on both sides there. She was coming pretty hard and they came pretty hard back at her. I think R. Kelly's got one of those complicated legacies here where there were not so good things, and obviously people hurt that were caught in his web. But he also put out some great music, stuff that inspired people, like I Believe I Can Fly, regardless of who it came from, a very inspirational song when you just listen to the words and get into the whole spirit of it. And he created, other songs that were just a huge soundtrack for R&B music in the late 80s and the 90s. So it is pretty sad, or even I guess up until the 2000s as well. So it's pretty sad when you see people that have been so heavily influential in the pop culture world, when you kind of see the other side of their life. It just reminds you everybody's human and they're not perfect, and they may look great on TV and it may seem like they're living the life or they're the best people, and not always what it seems. Everything that glitters is not gold. And then we got one last story here, and this is about R. Kelly here, reporting from TMZ. R. Kelly scared out of his mind in prison. Let me the heck out. So R. Kelly is scared out of his mind and desperately begging to be let out of prison, according to members of his legal team, who say the singer broke down in tears during a recent phone call as he fears for his life and his health spirals behind bars. TMZ has learned. Nicole Blank Becker, one of Kelly's attorneys, tells TMZ the 57-year-old is petrified to find himself back in prison after he was released from the hospital, and he's fretting about his health and safety. Kelly's currently locked up in a special housing unit in a North Carolina prison. Quote, "He's emotional and he cried intermittently on the phone call," end quote. On Monday, Becker tells us, adding again out of fear for his life. As we reported, Kelly was recently rushed to a local North Carolina hospital after overdosing on medication administered to him while he was in prison custody. During that visit, doctors allegedly told him he'd need surgery and would remain hospitalized for roughly 2 weeks, but things took a dramatic turn. Quote, "The next thing he knows, he is whisked out of the hospital back in the SHU, never to see the doctor again," end quote, Becker tells TMZ. The longtime Kelly lawyer says, quote, "Whether you like R. Kelly or not, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. He's a human being who needs medical attention immediately," end quote. Kelly's legal team filed a request for him to be moved to home confinement. Becker tells us Kelly has no issues in the Butner, North Carolina prison. Prior to the alleged murder plot involving another inmate there, Becker says that's in contrast to problems Kelly faced during his time locked up in Chicago and New York. Meanwhile, another of Kelly's attorneys, Bo Brindley, tells TMZ the singer's health continues to deteriorate behind bars. Well, Robert is suffering. He's still not getting his blood thinners. He's receiving no treatment for blood clots whatsoever, despite being diagnosed in the hospital, end quote. Brindley adds his team just received a signed HIPAA waiver, and he's actively working to obtain Kelly's full medical records from Duke Hospital to bolster their efforts in court. Kelly's currently serving a 30-year sentence for ex-trafficking and racketeering convictions. So we'll see if this moves the needle at all on him being able to come out. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that there is a murder plot going on against R. Kelly and he should be released to home confinement, or should he remain in prison? Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Let's keep that conversation going. And now we're going to get into some Diddy trial updates here. And let's see. All right, so it looks like court was canceled over a medical issue, so they didn't hold the full court today. This reporting from TMZ. It's like right out of a Hitchcock movie, but not really. The judge pulled the plug in the Diddy trial Wednesday after learning one of the jurors came down with vertigo. We don't know the underlying condition of the juror in question, but the evidence was truly head spinning this week. The jurors fixated on various freak off videos. Jurors put on their headphones Tuesday and watched around 10 minutes of the vids featuring X scenes between Diddy, Cassie, and male escorts. You could hear a pin drop in the courtroom. A subpoena gallery heard sounds coming from the headphones indicating what they were watching. We're on YouTube here, so you got to follow me. Judge Arun Subramanian canceled proceedings on what would have been the 26th day of testimony. He told those assembled that a juror was experiencing symptoms of vertigo on their way in and had to turn around and go home. Diddy's former assistant and alleged rug mule, Brendan Paul, was expected to be called to the stand today, and I was thinking that testimony was gonna be wild. So we're gonna have to wait, but he's still supposed to be coming to the stand. Paul's been granted immunity to testify. The court is dark on Thursday in observance of Juneteenth holiday and will resume on Friday. So if the court is able to continue on Friday, it should be Brendan Paul's testimony, and that I'm looking forward to hearing what is discussed from there. That was one of the names I had heard when the house was raided by the feds, the home in Miami and the home, I want to say, in like LA area or whatever. When those homes were raided, that was one of the people that had been arrested at that time. And Diddy was not arrested, but he was. So I was curious if he did get arrested, if he would end up cooperating. And it sounds like he did. So I'm sure that testimony is going to be interesting. So make sure you have your subscription to Aries Rose TV, because we will definitely be following that. We'll be on live Friday and we'll talk about whatever comes out from that testimony. And then make sure you hit that notification bell so you can find out every time I go live, post on the community page, upload reels, all that good stuff. And if you haven't already done so, please like the video as you come in. It's a free way to support the channel and it goes a long, long, long way. And now we're going to get into a couple more stories here. So there was a juror that was dismissed here in this Diddy trial, and this is some reporting from TMZ. The juror who got booted from the Diddy trial was not in awe of Diddy's celebrity or his rap empire. We've learned the guy was indifferent about Diddy and was mostly into Spanish language music, so there was no celeb wow factor for him. A source close to Juror 6 tells TMZ the guy never really wanted to be a part of the high-profile trial, but he got a summons and ended up being picked for the jury. We're told he's been a quiet person who likes to get his work done without being hassled, and he's not comfortable with all the media attention now that he's been kicked off the jury, and I don't blame him for that. Our sources say Juror 6 has zero interest in seeking the spotlight after the trial ends. Sorry, folks, no book deals or interviews. He just wants to go back to his private life, which includes a steady job with the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision. And Judge Arun Subramanian dismissed Juror 6 Monday over concerns about where the guy lives, the Bronx or New Jersey. And our sources say the juror has not spoken a word about the trial to anyone close to him, including our source, and takes the judge's initial order seriously. He refused to even give a hint of his opinion on the case and wouldn't say a peep about the issue that got him booted off the jury. The juror is a 41-year-old Black Hispanic man, and he was replaced by the first alternate, a 57-year-old white man who lives in Westchester County. So it looks like that's one juror that's not looking to cash in on their experience that they had on the Diddy trial, even though they weren't on there for the full time. And I don't blame them. I don't know that I'd want to be involved in that after, or have to keep answering questions or reliving through that. But I'm sure once this trial is over, the jurors that want to do that could make a pretty penny off that, because somebody will want to hear their story for sure, their perspective, what they saw, what it was like for them in the courtroom. So I'm sure there's going to be some books and major interviews once they can, if they ever can, talk about that. And then we got one last reporting about the Diddy trial here, and that's Cassie threatens man over freak off videos, reporting from TMZ. Diddy's defense played jurors an audio recording of Cassie confronting a man who she says had told her he'd been showed a video of her doing a freak off, and we're now finally getting to hear what was played for the jury. In a batch of freshly released Diddy defense exhibits, there's an audio file that Diddy's defense team says features Cassie making death threats to a man she calls Sugit. The recording was played in court over a month ago during Cassie's testimony, but it's only now being made public. You got to listen to the clip. You can hear Cassie tell the man she will schmirk him if he doesn't immediately show her a video. She says she's never schmirked anyone, but would schmirk him because he's messing with her life. Cassie says she never wanted anyone to see the video and demands he show her the video, and a couple times she's tells him someone other than her will schmirk him. The video was played for jurors May 16th when Cassie was being cross-examined, and the incident is from March 2014, and it happened in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Cassie testifies she confronted Sugit after he claimed he'd seen her in a freak-off video. So it looks like that's just coming back up again, but that had been previously played in court. And we'll see how this Diddy trial goes. It's sounding like the prosecution is wrapping up their particular case, and then it's going to go on to the defense. So I think Brendan Paul, maybe some of the last that are going to be testifying on the prosecution side, and I'm very curious to see who the defense is going to bring up for Diddy's case here. I'm really like, who can come up here, because it's been very interesting who's come up for the prosecution. So I am very curious who's coming up for the defense. Hearing the judge wants to have this case over by the 4th of July. So they want to wrap it up in a couple weeks here. So we'll see how that goes. I don't really have a pulse on who I think is doing better, if the defense is doing better or if the prosecution is doing better in presenting the case. Just going to wait and see after everything is said and done and everything we hear to kind of make some gauges on it. But just from where I stand right now, I don't know that the prosecution has completely sold me that this was a racketeering situation, but we'll see what the jurors interpret and everything that's still to come in that particular case. And we will be following this Diddy case, following all these cases that are out here. This Tyler Perry case that was recently filed. Check out my live from yesterday where we talk about that. And let me know if you want me to dive into the lawsuit itself, because I can get a copy of the lawsuit. Let me know if you want me to review the lawsuit in its entirety for what was recently filed on Tyler Perry here. We're going to try to do a live over the weekend here to talk about some movies to go check out, because I love watching movies, seen a lot, so I've got quite a few to talk about. There's some good ones out there, some good ones coming up, so you got to get into that. Like, I'm looking forward to Jurassic World Rebirth. I like all the Jurassic World movies. They kind of jumped the shark there, the last one for sure, but I have enjoyed them. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one in July. And even the Fantastic Four, although I've been very disappointed with pretty much all of them, I'm going to hold out hope. Maybe this one will redeem them. We'll see. We shall see. And if you haven't already done so and you are still on the live right now, go ahead and join that Aries crew. It doesn't cost anything, and we'd love to have you a part of the crew. All you got to do is hit that subscription button and hit that notification bell so you can find out every time I go live, post on the community page, post shorts, post videos, all of that good stuff. go ahead and leave a like for the video. It's a free way to support the channel and it goes a long way. We'll be back on live tomorrow, so make sure you are staying tuned. We'll be on about the same time and we'll get some updates here. It won't be on the Diddy trial, but there'll be some other stuff we can catch up on because there's always something going on that we can talk about. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support. We're trying to get to 2,000 here by the end of summer, so we really could use your help. We're trying to get some more eyes on our channel, so sharing this out with family and friends. I like to get some entertainment news. Perfect channel, we'd love to have them here. Have a wonderful rest of your day and we'll see you tomorrow. And if you are on Instagram, follow me there at Aries Rose TV and I will follow you back. Have a good day.